So do you think at this point in time, valid na hindi mag-surrender si Senator Bato sa NBI, sa police, o kay Marcos o sa ICC habang inaantay niya ang magiging desisyon ng Korte Suprema sa pagiging tama o mali ng ICC arrest order against him, including ang relasyon sa konstitusyon at batas natin? Tama na hindi siya mag-surrender muna.
Unfortunately, the process in this case is vague. We do not have any precedent. The precedent that we have is the immediate deportation of a former president to the ICC without the court having a look at the legality, constitutionality, applicability, or enforceability of foreign warrants. So probably if I will be the counsel of Senator Bato de la Rosa, my advice would be to seek first judicial relief. Hindi pa siya tapos. Di ba ang sabi ng court kanina, sabi ko is that, well, at this point, we are not giving a TRO, but we can always give a TRO at any given moment should the need arises. I think that I will manifest what is happening now in the Senate, what happened in the Senate the last weekend where there was a exchange of gunfire, as one that would necessitate the issuance of a TRO.
Hindi dapat kilalanin ang ICC warrant of arrest. Therefore, walang valid arrest order kay Senator Bato de la Rosa. Wala siyang kaso sa Pilipinas, wala din po siyang arrest order. Kaya tinitingnan ko na ang arrest order ng ICC ay panghihimasok at pangbabastos sa saligang batas, sa kalayaan at soberenya ng Pilipinas, at ito ay pagtapak sa otoridad ng Korte Suprema na ginagamit ni Marcos para sa kanyang political operations to demolish the political opposition. Ngayon, paano ito tinitingnan ni Atty. Marlon? Kasi maraming nagpapakilala din ng College of Law, legal expert, legal luminary, na ang kanilang pananaw, okay lang yan, natapakan ng ating soberanya, basta may arrest order, arestuhin at itapon na. Just that, ganun kasimple nila gusto ihulog ang question ng pagtindig natin sa soberanya at ang pagtindig na hindi tayo dapat milalapastangan ng dayuhang puwersa kagaya ngayon ng ICC na kasabwat ni Ginoong Marcos. Atty. Marlon, bigyan mo nga kami ng legal context kung tama yung bit-bit kong pananaw na yan.
Yes, before that, I would like to make a comment, lalo doon sa nangyayari ngayon with the involvement of the Supreme Court and the denial of the interim relief prayer ng kampo ni Senator De La Rosa. No? So ang sinabi naman doon sa denial ng Supreme Court, and unfortunately we have yet to receive a copy of the decision, is that in the time being, hindi muna binibigyan ng TRO or status quo ante-order ang kampo ni Senator De La Rosa, meaning if there should be a warrant available, they are not stopping it. But ang sabi ng Supreme Court, we are not ruling on the main case, meaning on the constitutionality of the existence of that warrant, enforceability of that warrant, whether it's enforceable or not in our jurisdiction, was not yet ruled upon by the Supreme Court. And the ruling also states, ito yung lagi nilang kinakalimutan na yung mga dami nating mga ano dyan, mga expert ko, no, some of them naman bobo, very obvious yung political bias, and I think they're putting the legal profession in a bad light by coming up with, half-baked analysis, is that while the Supreme Court at this point did not provide for a TRO relief, it also stated that should the Supreme Court deem it necessary, they will provide for interim relief. Mm-hmm. And I think that the what happened in the Senate was not part of the facts that were appreciated by the Supreme Court, and probably other issues that may come up after, which probably they think would necessitate the issuance of a TRO or a status quo ante-order. Pwede pa silang magbigay kasi very explicit yung sinabi ng Supreme Court. They are denying at this point yung prayer na stopping PNP, CIDG, and other law enforcement na mag-serve ng warrant. And you know why that is important? My reading to that is that ang hirap kasi na mag-create ka ng dangerous precedent because they just came up with a ruling na pag fugitive ka ng batas, you cannot avail of any remedies under the law while hiding from the law. That is the general principle.
Yes.
While it's quite at this point, iba yung situation ni Senator na, well, it's akin to it. It's akin to it. There's an existence of a warrant. You're requesting for the Supreme Court to provide you relief while hiding away from that. So I think that the point is that maybe the Supreme Court is trying to protect a bigger picture. But it also stated that should situation arise that would necessitate the issuance of a TRO while the main case is pending, magbibigay sila. So hindi sila nag-no sa issuance ng interim relief. Hindi rin sila nag-decide.
Attorney, may tanong kami muna.
Hindi
Iklaro
maliwanag.
namin ni Sen. Ma'am Lorena. Ma'am, iklaro ko lang. So do you think at this point in time, valid na hindi mag-surrender si Senator Bato sa NBI, sa police, o kay Marcos, o sa ICC, habang inaantay niya ang magiging desisyon ng Korte Suprema sa pagiging tama o mali ng ICC arrest order against him, including ang relasyon sa konstitusyon at batas natin? Tama na hindi siya mag-surrender muna.
Ganito, as officer of the court, my answer would always be respect the processes. Unfortunately, the process in this case is vague. We do not have any precedent. The precedent that we have is the immediate deportation of a former president to the ICC without the court having a look at the legality, constitutionality, applicability, or enforceability of foreign warrants. So probably if I will be the counsel of Senator Bato de la Rosa, my advice would be to seek first judicial relief. Hindi pa siya tapos. Di ba ang sabi ng court kanina, sabi ko is that, well, at this point, we are not giving a TRO, but we can always give a TRO at any given moment should the need arises. I think that I will manifest what is happening now in the Senate, what happened in the Senate the last weekend where there was a exchange of gunfire, as one that would necessitate the issuance of a TRO.
Wait, question. You mean to say the Supreme Court reached that decision prior to the that petition was filed before the attack on Senate happened?
I think kasi yung what happened was during the day of the deliberation, there was the prevention by the NBI of Senator Bato entering the Senate. I think that was the precursor of the motion. Kasi hindi naman sila makapag-file agad kasi gabi nangyari yun eh. Gabi nangyari yung putukan eh. So I think hindi siya kasama sa mga facts na in-appreciate ng Supreme Court. So I think that given if this supervening event or any other event that may come in the future, the camp of former De La Rosa, I would like to make a shout out to Atty. Torion and the councils of Bato, Senator Bato who are doing all this job. No? Ang mga kaso na ito, alam niyo mahirap po siya kasi wala kang president, wala kang sinusunod na ginawa noon, gagawin natin. They're all grasping at, sabi natin, noble questions of law.
Ibig sabihin, attorney, walang jurisprudence to guide.
Yes. They are trailblazers looking for solutions out there, no applicable laws na walang president nilang pinafollow, walang jurisprudence. So shout out to them. I am very sure they are doing a good job, no. Sa mga nang babash sa kanila, for example, may nagsasabi na dapat ang i-hide with Justice Habeas writ of habeas corpus, which is totally wrong. Habeas corpus, alam nyo kasi to, why I can speak to this regard is nagkaroon kayo ng kasong ganito. And other case that I handled, I have handled case ng habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is very simple. Produce the body of the person and explain to court why are you in custody of that person. So you cannot file for a habeas corpus because the good senator is not yet in any custody of anybody.
He's not detained.
But yes, he's not detained by anybody. Second is that what was filed by Atty. Torion was the same case that was filed against you in the Kapuyan case. Writ of amparo. Writ of amparo is covered by 4 instances: extrajudicial killing, extrajudicial abduction, threat of abduction, sa threat of extrajudicial killing. So threat of abduction is there because writ of amparo, as filed by Atty. Torion and the legal team, talks about threat to life, liberty, and security. That is the proper remedy. So I think, with all due respect to other legal luminaries or legal non-luminaries, I think that Atty. Torion what they're doing. They're pursuing a correct remedy. Yeah, so yeah.
Wait, I have a question.
And then yun,
Kasi-
kaya nasabi ko, yes.
From the layman's perspective kasi, attorney, when you hear that the Supreme Court denied the TRO of Senator Bato, parang ang dating sa layman is that, okay, you can arrest him now.
Yes, that is the effect. But the Supreme Court is not necessarily saying that. But if you are the executive department, you can make that assumption. Okay? You can make that assumption because sabi mo, by existence ng warrant, whether issued ng foreign court, international court, we are going to enforce it because that will be the assumption. What will be carrying their action will be the presumption of regularity of duty, that they were not stopped by the Supreme Court from implementing the warrant. That would
So,
be the
which means,
that's an interpretation. Kaya nga sa akin is that, but the Supreme Court opened the door for Senator De La Rosa to file additional motions requesting for TRO should there be other incidents that could justify the issuance of a TRO. Kasi sinabi mismo ng Supreme Court yan sa order. They did not foreclose the possibility of issuing a TRO.
Which
They
brings
did
us to
not
the
also
point,
rule.
Attorney Marlon. Attorney
Yes.
Marlon, which brings us to the point. It is not up for Marcos, for the NBI, for the DOJ, or for the Office of the Solicitor General to determine kung tama o hindi na ipatupad ang warrant na yan. Dapat inaantay nila ang Korte Suprema. Dahil lalo na ito ay dayuhan. Hindi ito warrant ng Korte ng Pilipinas.
Kaya
Hindi mo
lang,
na kailangan
Eric,
i-argue.
kaya lang di ba sabi ng Supreme Court, dinenay nga niya eh. So parang ganun nga yung effect, then arrest him. Tama?
Yes,
Ang
tama.
interpretation ng ni Marcos. Pero hindi sinabi ng Korte Suprema na tama ang warrant of arrest. Pending question pa yan. Dahil dayuhan ito. Gusto kong i-underscore ito. Ang dayuhan na puwersa at mga elemento ay hindi automatic na ipapatupad mo sa Pilipinas kung hindi ito nagtatagpo at sumasang-ayon sa ating sariling batas, sa ating saligang batas, sa ating proseso. And that can only be
Yes.
determined by the Supreme Court.
Yes, that's true. No. That is true, no. Kaya lang at this point kasi what the ruling created is a gray area. Because we have lack of precedent. So for me, I would say na the executive department may have a leeway in interpreting that non-issuance of the TRO is an invitation for them to enforce the warrant. But you could also argue that considering that there is no ruling on the validity of the warrant, that they should also wait for the Supreme Court to make a ruling kasi specifically what was being questioned is the validity, constitutionality, enforceability of the warrant. So if you are the executive department and you're dealing with a matter of sovereignty, your first course of action should supposedly is to await the final ruling because it involves the sovereignty of the state.
But
Correct.
but doesn't the
If you are thinking that way, but if politically it's political convenient for you to remove De La Rosa,
yeah, so nawala tuloy ako. Okay, so the Supreme Court therefore didn't clarify things because they're
Yes.
supposed to clarify, 'di ba? They muddied the waters even more and opening that door to the whatever interpretation that's politically expedient to Bongbong Marcos.
yes.
Very
That's why
dangerous.
kaya ang sa akin is may mga options pa naman si Attorney Torion eh. So I think at this point they can also find, I mean, it's just me talking out the top of my head because
Yeah.
I don't want to intrude, no. I totally respect
Yeah.
what they're.
Yeah.
But kung ako halimbawa, ang gagawin ko diyan, mag-file ako ng motion for clarification on the ruling denying the TRO on the question whether or not, if in the event that he is surrendered or captured, is the PNP or are the law enforcement like NBI or CIDG capacitated or authorized under this ruling to surrender him to the ICC without a ruling first on the constitutionality of the warrant. So you have to make, that's an available remedy for you. You can make that clarification. Kasi it's not clarified on the ruling.
But
Or
isn't that,
if
but
if they
isn't
want
that,
to make it,
Go ahead, attorney.
If they want to be more innovative, and they want to pursue the issuance of a local warrant, and they want the local warrant, I mean the ICC warrant to be under the eyeballs of a local judge, file for a mandamus for me. Kasi there is a provision in the rule that they are citing that dapat dadaan yan muna sa local courts. Then file a mandamus. Mandamus is ordering the person to bring into the court what they should have done in the first place. So,
Attorney
there
Marlon,
are
ang sinasabi po dyan ay ang rule number 59 ng Rome Statute. Ang rule number 59 ng Rome Statute that governs the ICC requires mandatory determination of the right of the accused or subject person of the warrant to be determined and to be processed in a competent judicial authority into the host country where the warrant is to be served. Rule 59 ng Rome Statute
Correct.
yon, hindi yung ginawa at in-implement kay Pangulong Duterte. At ayaw gamitin yan ni Marcos dahil dadaan yan sa extradition or court proceeding that will benefit Bato de la Rosa.
So
correct. That's why for me. Yes.
Question. So, if this were a presidential president, a real president, a president that loves his country, how will he act given the Supreme Court's ruling? How is he going to act? Because Bongbong Marcos is not a real president. No, he's
Okay.
really trash. Okay, so what would a real president do?
When we look at our constitution, the most venerable rights are life,
Yeah.
liberty. Okay. So what we are talking here about is the life and the liberty of a sitting senator that was voted upon by the people last election. I think third in the ranking. So I don't know how many millions, 25 or 27 million people trusted this person to carry on their voices in the Senate.
Yeah.
So I think, considering that there's an issue of constitutionality, you will wait
Yeah.
before you will take your action. This is something that you should take into account, considering that there will be a submission of a portion of your sovereignty to a foreign body or to an international body. So
Tama.
for me,
I
it will
agree.
be the proper context. But think of this. ICC comes in as a complementary court under the principle
Yes.
of complementarity, meaning it's a court of last resort in the event that the state is unwilling
Yeah.
or unable to prosecute. That will trigger the jurisdiction of the ICC. Did
Yes.
this government fail to is unable or unwilling? The case was filed by Trillanes. It was not filed by the state. Remember?
Correct.
Yes.
It was not filed by the Republic of the Philippines. There was yet no determination if this government is unwilling or unable. Because if you talk about unable to prosecute, you were able to prosecute si Sara in all its in all tribunals, whether it's sa Senate, sa HOR, sa Office of the Bar Confidant for Disbarment, sa Ombudsman, sa criminal court si Pulong. I mean, all of the Dutertes have been prosecuted by this government. So you cannot say that there's no political will. You cannot say that they are unable to prosecute the Dutertes because they have been doing it for quite a time. So my question remains to be, as an overarching question for the Supreme Court and for what's happening in our country, are we willing to say that we are unable and unwilling to prosecute?
Correct. That's the
Are we
question.
saying that? That's the question.
Which, Attorney Marlon, by the way, sinabi yan ni Senior Justice Marvic Leonen
Yes.
in the oral arguments pertaining to Cayetano versus Pangilinan.
Yeah.
Sinabi niya ang isang abogado, I think representing the interest for the ICC. Sabi niya, so now you're saying that the local court and the Supreme Court in the Philippines cannot hold criminal accountability and prosecute crimes against those who are accused of crimes in our jurisdiction, and we need foreign courts to intervene. Hindi nakasagot yung abogado. Tumahimik, natameme siya.
Question.
I think, Attorney Marlon, which brings
Yeah.
us to you, to your point na,
Yes.
bakit bakit ganun katagal ang Korte Suprema magkaroon ng deliberative and categorical decision to once and for all settle all these things para
Exactly.
tumahimik itong mga iba't ibang mga pananaw, Ma'am Lorraine, at
Yeah.
nang sa ganun ay mapag-utusan ang lahat ng otoridad sa Pilipinas na ito ang dapat sundin. Why?
Yeah, I was going to just add also. So wasn't this supposed to be a cut and dried decision from the Supreme Court? I mean, it's a strange decision, right? Parang where's this coming from? It really
Yeah.
confused us even more. And for something that's supposed to be very clear, because we really are talking about the sovereignty of our country, right? And not
Yeah.
only that, the strength of our judicial system, right? So
Yes,
coming
yes.
from the Supreme Court, it's really not only strange, but for me, it's disheartening and
Yeah.
very dangerous because we are passing on that burden. I mean, it's not just us because it's going to be passed on to this burden will be passed on to our children and future generations of Filipinos who
Correct.
will be facing the same monster, no? That there will the ICC, this rotten court, will be used as a political weapon by immoral leaders, hungry for power, right? It sets a very dangerous precedent. That's the
Yeah.
way I see it. Imbes na klinaro, parang ano yun?
Yes, that's true.